from a research point of view this week, we've talked before about suppression of information. I brought to you the information about the DSMA and how the DSMA are within the Ministry of Defence building. They're classed as a voluntary organisation. However, they're made up I think exclusively of military professionals and also professionals from government. And they make decisions as to what can be shown in the mainstream media. So all of the mainstream media have to present, well, don't have to, it's advised that they present their top stories to the DSMA for review before they can actually go into print. And if the DSMA deems them to be far too sensitive in any way, shape or form, the remit is supposed to be if it would affect national security, they shouldn't be printed or they may have to be altered. But we have found out through leaked documents, through Kit Clarenberg, that they have actually been censoring speech when it comes to all manner of things, not just national security issues. The grooming gang scandal, that was suppressed. The spy that was chopped up and put in a suitcase in a hotel in this country, that was suppressed. The ties for UK involvement around the Diana death, that was suppressed. And all of this came to light through investigative journalism. And we realised that the mainstream media is an absolute cuck to our government. So we don't get to see what the full news is. We don't get to understand what the full news is. And I've been using social media for quite a long time now, and I'm patently aware that social media is controlled and owned by a lot of very suspect people. And I used to think that X was a free speech platform. It seemed to send waves through a lot of official people because it wasn't censored, which meant that people were going to X for their news. If they wanted to know something, they're more likely to find it on X and search on X for things that were going on in government. And that's where, it was touted as the biggest news story place. If you wanted to get news, it would be on X. So that's why I started using Grok as part of our news hub, our weekly news hub, because Grok was always very honest. And if I asked him a question that I asked the other two AIs that I use, Grok was always much more direct and much more in your face with the answer. And I appreciated that. I liked that. However, Elon Musk has given in to pressure. And I'm not sure who he's being pressured by, because let's face it, he's the richest man in the world. So I'm not sure what the pressure could be. That I could hazard a guess, but he has bowed down to the pressure. And his new algorithmic change on X means that you are suppressed if you have any tweets that have anything against the administration. You're suppressed. And also if you have any tweets that are against the administration's best buddy, Israel. And it's predominantly those two countries that if you tweet about them and it's in any way, shape or form derogatory, then they will be suppressed. They won't be deleted, they won't be taken off, but just nobody will see them. Which leads you to think, okay, well, I have quite a lot to say, and I'm on X. I have quite a lot to say about things that are going on in the world, not just our government. I post a lot about our government. I have a tendency to comment on things that are going on globally, but my feed is mainly to do with what's happening in this country. So when I make a post, it's for the UK, but I do comment a lot on other people's posts from all around the world. And those posts are not being shown. And some of the people that I'm commenting on have got millions of followers. But if that post is a post that's slightly derogatory to that government's regime, then it's being suppressed. So it doesn't matter how much I respond to it and kind of, answer it and say something on their tweet, it won't get shown to anybody because that's being suppressed. So that really pissed me off this week. It's been going on for the last week-ish, a little bit longer. And you could, at one point, go to Grok and you could ask Grok for your suppression score. You could look at how much you were being suppressed. I'm not so sure that they called it a Grok glitch because Grok glitches every now and again. So suppression on X, which I found really distressing this is supposed to be a platform where we can talk and speak about things that we find really quite concerning, and that can reach other people to see if they're like-minded people that we can have conversations with. And it's not with a view to doing anything drastic. It's to vent your spleen. Sometimes you need to vent your spleen. And to find out that that's not actually happening, it's not going on, really annoyed me. And then there was a massive surge this week I saw through X. I initially saw it through one guy and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And he's got quite a large platform on X. And he introduced a new social media platform called UpScrolled. And he introduced it by saying it's not censored at all. At all. There are no algorithmic censors. The way the algorithms work are completely different. And therefore, it is the only true free speech platform that is available at this moment in social media. Because we know Facebook is controlled. We know, there's been masses of outcry over TikTok because Mr. Ellison, who is, I think, the second richest man in the world, has purchased TikTok, and he is the biggest funder to the IDF in Israel, and he has now made it impossible for anybody to post anything derogatory on TikTok at all to do with the Israeli regime. So Zionist is a word that they won't allow unless it's to say, I'm a proud Zionist. If you say that Zionism is not a good thing, then you won't be able to post on TikTok at all. It will stop you from posting. The algorithm on TikTok will not allow you to say that. And if you do anything post-wise, they just won't show your posts to any of your followers. And there have been examples of that have been going through social media. So when this new media came up, and Instagram is equally as bad, when this new social media came up, I immediately went and had a look. So the research this week is looking at UpScrolled as another alternative. Now, I've brought you alternatives before. When I did the DSMA video, I told you that the feedback I got from that is like, you get a sense of impotence. What can you do? Like, what can you do if everything you're being shown is to keep you blinkered from the important things? What can you do about that? And I gave you two apps. I did a piece on YouTube for the Research Hub on the Buyer app. And the Buyer app is by Ian Carroll. And he has done an app where you can barcode scan any product, and it will tell you if it's owned by a mega corporation or whether it's family run, founder owned. And it encourages you to stop giving your pennies to these mega corporations who are taking over everything. So that was one thing you could do. And the other app that I introduced you to was the No Thanks app, which was designed by a Mr. Bash Bash, who was used to live in Gaza until his family were almost wiped out. He escaped. He now lives in a different country, and he started an app where when you scan anything, You barcode scan anything, it will tell you if the company that owns that product is supporting the atrocities in Palestine. So they were two great things that you could do to just regain a little bit more control over where you spend your money. But if everything when it comes to social media is owned by billionaire oligarchs who dictate what you can say again, then we needed a platform that wasn't owned like that. So I'm now going to introduce you to this man. Now, this man is Sam Hijazi, and he is the founder of UpScrolled, which is the new social media app. And he talks about why he created the platform following extreme censorship and shadow banning by big tech companies and social media. And the thing to bear in mind is that Israel killed 60 members of his family in Gaza during the past 2 years. 60 members of this man's family. And the place he's coming from, obviously, it's horrendous. Like what's happened to this man is horrendous. But he's a tech engineer, and he's worked for big tech companies, and he's equally had enough. He lives in Australia at the moment, and he's part. I think his heritage is part Jordanian, part Palestinian, and he's sick and tired of Palestinians not having a voice on social media platforms at all. Basically, being kind of barred from being on social media platforms. So he initially set up UpScrolled to give them a space to allow them to have their say. So I'm going to let you have a listen. It's 6 minutes 38, but hear him out.
They give us, some hope, like Microsoft, they're not doing this minor, and then we're happy because the UN said, oh, we recognize the state of Palestine. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, end the genocide, that's when you will have our respect. That's giving us words and having people continue to be killed every single day. As we speak now, that doesn't solve the problem. I mean, we shouldn't be happy or hopeful so much when we hear the UN or some politicians say, oh, we recognize this. I mean, who the fuck cares about what you say? We recognize Palestine since 1948 and before that. Right. Shadow banning really, in simple terms, is the process that these big tech companies impose systematically to restrict the content reach for its users. Things like against the policy, against the regularity, and really what they mean is against the propaganda that they serve or the people that they serve. The user who do the labeling for the content first before training the model itself could be biased by nature. They could be coming, for example, from IDF. So these people deliberately would make and label this content as bad. So these machine learning algorithm would pick it up. And then Meta would come a year after, say, oh, it's a bug. It's something error in the system, but what really happens is not really a bug. So that's why a lot of pro-Palestinian content get flagged. A lot of pro-Palestinian users get banned many times. Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle, is the biggest contributor to the Friends for Ideas charity, right?
Yeah, that's right.
His last contribution was about 16 million, and that still used something. If that person, who's friend with Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel in general, is gonna own 80% of TikTok, moving on, and if Netanyahu himself saying that the importance of utilizing TikTok and X to spread their narrative, that tells you a lot of things. They understand the danger that TikTok has created, obviously, and social media in general, of reaching out to every person across the globe or showing the real face of Israel to the world. And now they want to control that, just like they controlled CNN, just like they control Fox News and all the other media outlets. They understand now this is the new tool to control the brains of the young generation everywhere. And they want to ensure that they send them messages that they want to brainwash the next generation. It's going to get even worse. I think at some point we will not be able to speak out about anything that's pro-Palestinian or anything that goes against their propaganda in general. Lobbying. They do a lot of lobbying, and they're very structured in doing that. Okay. They know where to go. They know who to speak with. They've got organization which know where to put the money in, and people who are greedy, willing to take the money and then do actions accordingly. Each one of us has certain skills, and each one of us should be employing the skills that we have towards free Palestine in a way. I mean, some of us are great in tech, some of us are great in music, some of us are great in journalism. So I believe everyone should be starting creating their own alternatives, and each one of us starting supporting one another, because that's the way forward. That's how they do it, and that's how we can only do it. When I say they, I mean Zionists. They became powerful because they're helping one another, and they became so big, and we became weaker because we're not. We only can become stronger once we become one and helping each other. Why I founded UpScrolled, and little background about myself. So, Isam Hijazi, I'm originally from Palestine. I was born in Jordan because most of Palestinians are born in Jordan and elsewhere around the world. Currently, I'm living in Australia. I have experience with big tech for the past 17 years. And since the genocide happened and still happening, it changed everything in me, my perspective to life, to work, to what I want to look for. And I felt I was complicit by working for these big techs. And I've seen many users, friends, family being shadow banned, their voice being shut on these different platforms. And I was one of those users. I was posting about what's happening in the genocide. And I've got friends all over Europe, the US, and everywhere asking them, do you see this content? They say, what content? So I've seen this firsthand. And I've got family as well in Gaza. 60 of them got killed during the genocide. So I was deeply affected by what happened, and I felt compelled to create something to contribute back in my capacity. So I decided to quit my career, my professional career, which many people saw as, successful one, and I decided to devote myself to build an alternative social media platform, which many would tell me, you're crazy, you're trying to compete with Meta, you're trying to compete with X, TikTok. But I tell them, if we don't try, we'll never know. That's number one. Number two, if we don't start building alternative and become independent from all these digital platforms out there, then we're not going to be able to make it too far. I mean, it's great to go out in the street and protest. It's great to gather and talk and share and all that. But if we don't become independent, digitally speaking, with platforms, with products, and then help one another to grow these platforms, we will not be able to get far. And the reason for this, all these big tech, all these politicians talk money, they talk power, talk about control. And we're helping them by using these other platforms. We're profiting them. We're generating money for them. We're making them more powerful every day, whether that we're by using or scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. I said, let's create the platform. So I dedicated myself building the platform last year. We've launched UpScrolled about a couple of months ago. To those who doesn't know UpScrolled, it's a social media platform similar to Instagram, similar to X, and very soon similar to TikTok. Our tens and tens of thousands joining the platform monthly. I've been surprised, to be honest with you, when we launched the platform. The second day, we're starting to see hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, 20, 30. We know people are looking for an alternative. They're sick and tired of being shadow banned. They understand the pain of posting and not having their content or voice being reached on other platforms. So this is basically what UpScrolled is.
So that was the man himself. And I think it's a fabulous thing that he's doing. I put it, like I said, I put it right up there with taking your pennies away from massive megacorps. So stop funding these billionaires by using the Buyer app. Taking your pennies away from organizations and companies when it comes to what you purchase that they fund Israel in some way, or they support Israel in some way, and what they're doing, which has been officially deemed a genocide by the UN. So when it comes to giving your pennies, you don't think about it when you're on social media. You don't think about the fact that every time you're scrolling and clicking, and you're not paying to do that, but they're getting money from you doing that. So another way to take money away from the big organizations. And this was posted yesterday, and I'm really, really pleased. It says, this isn't an algorithm, this isn't a media push, this is you showing up and sending a message to big tech. We want something different. 3 countries, organic growth, real change. Thank you for believing in an alternative. This is yours. So it's number 1 in the UK App Store. It's number 1 in the UK App Store. That's how much it's taken off. I've been using it this week, and it's glitching. It keeps like glitching out. But the only reason it's glitching out is because there are hundreds of thousands of new users that are joining up and signing up. So you can imagine the servers that this poor man is like having to deal with to have that amount of people. It's number 3 in America in their app store. And well, it says in social networking, it's number 3. It's number 4 in America across all categories, and it's number 12 at the moment in Australia across all categories. So that's really positive. I'm so pleased that that's taken off. This is the guy that I first found out about it from. So his name is your favorite guy, Guy Christensen. And he was being banned. He's a young man who effectively was being banned on loads of different platforms because he was very vocal about what he thought. So I'm going to let you have a listen. It's a very short one.
Guys, it's happening. A Palestinian-owned social media platform called UpScrolled is number 2 in the world, trending on X, Twitter, and Instagram, with hundreds of thousands of users fleeing their platforms to go to UpScrolled because it promises no censorship and no billionaires controlling you. What better way to say F you to Larry Ellison for buying TikTok than putting a Palestinian-led social media platform at number 1 spot? At the number 1 spot, we need to be spreading the word, representing UpScrolled, and telling everyone that we're going to UpScrolled, no matter what platform, because all these platforms are controlled by the same ring of like-minded billionaires. I'm on there. I just hit 40K. You can find me. My username is GUY. Tell everyone, tell your friends, tell the whole internet. Thank you. And free Palestine. Guys, it's...
I love his energy. So as soon as he came on and I saw that, I was like, oh, I'll have a look. I'll give it a go and see. Now, I just want to give you an idea of what they're saying. And this was a post that I found. And I mean, I have to search for these posts now on on X, because they're being suppressed. Trump's billionaire ally media and personal data ecosystem. So we have Larry and David Ellison own CBS News, CBS, Paramount, Pluto, and TikTok. Well, this is not necessarily owned outright. I think they said 80%. But 80%, that's a controlling share. So that means that they can dictate. So, and these are all billionaire tech oligarchs. So Mark Zuckerberg, as we know, he's got all of those platforms. The Murdoch family, Fox, Tubi, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, the Sinclair family, 185 local news affiliates, including CBS, NBC, Fox, CW, ABC, The Sun. Jeff Bezos. Did you know Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post? Not that we would have that here, but Prime Video, Twitch, Wondery. So this platform we're using at the moment, every time we use it, it's putting pennies in Jeff Bezos's. And these platforms are global. These platforms are around the world. Alphabet Inc. owns Google, YouTube, Android, Google Play, Gemini, Blogger. Elon Musk, we know he owns XAI and he owns X. Apple, all of the Apple stuff. And Sam Altman, he owns ChatGPT. And what do they have in common? They're all billionaires. and they all kowtow to the globals. So when it comes to the puppet masters, whoever's in control, I'm not sure it's any of these lot. I don't think it's any of these lot. I think that Elon Musk, as the richest man in the world, has had to kowtow to something or someone to change his algorithm so that you can't, so you're shadow banned, as they put it, or your speech is suppressed. Like, he was a big free speech advocate. So I don't think these guys are in control. I think somebody or something is in control of them. But that covers almost every single news, media, social media outlet that you could possibly think of. And we want free speech. We want to know what the hell's going on. So I just wanted to show you that, because that just astonished me. They have got the whole of the coverage. I also wanted to show you this, because I thought this was really interesting. This is a post by, what's his name? Ryan Rosbiani. I'm sure he won't mind me utilising it, just to give you an idea of the coverage and reach. So he says, let's compare UpScrolled and X. On X, he's got 161,000 followers. Well, 161,500 followers. And on UpScrolled, because it's reasonably new, he's got 1,500 followers. So a fraction of the followers that he has on X. Posted this post, and it was about the Board of Peace in America taking the takeover plan for Gaza, a leaked draft resolution found by DropSite News titled Resolution Number 2026-1, dated January 22nd, outlines a US-backed governing authority designed to take full control over Gaza's laws. So US-backed. Now, he posted this, the same thing, on both about 20-25 minutes. That's how long they were up. Okay? So X, with more followers, got 28 engagements versus UpScrolled that got 73. So this is X. And you can see that's a retweet. So that's 12 shares. It was shared 12 times. 16 people liked it, and 364 people saw it. When you look at UpScrolled, 50 likes from a fraction of the followers, 2 comments and 21 shares. You don't get to see how many impressions. Like on the X one, this line here at the bottom is the amount of impressions you've made. So the amount of people who've kind of scrolled, and it's been on their scroll when they've been scrolling, so somebody might have seen it. But 12 retweets, 16 likes out of 161,500 followers, compared to 50 likes, 2 talking, and 21 shares out of 1,500 followers. So that just goes to show you the difference between X and UpScrolled. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. That's why I wanted to share it with you. I was like, yeah, we're going to have to share that. I just wanted to show you that, because I felt it was important that you got an understanding of how suppressed somebody with that many followers is being on X compared to UpScrolled. So Forbes posted about it, and Forbes is quite prestigious, and most of us have heard of Forbes. UpScrolled, a new social media platform that says it does not shadow ban or censor users, ranks number 12 on Apple's App Store among free apps, 1 spot above TikTok. And there have been posts on X where all I've seen is people saying, I've deleted my TikTok account, I've deleted my TikTok account. So we're going to go to Forbes and we're going to have a look and see what Forbes had to say. TikTok competitor UpScrolled surges on App Store amid allegations TikTok suppresses anti-ICE videos. So I said to you before, it's not just being annoyed and posting things about different regimes like the genocide in Palestine. If you post against the establishment, so all the ICE stuff that's been going on in America, TikTok is suppressing that as well. So, social media app UpScrolled said its servers crashed earlier today because so many new users are downloading the app as it capitalizes on user discontent with TikTok, which has alienated some users who accuse it of censoring anti-Trump videos after spinning off its US operations to a new entity owned by some Trump allies. So that's Larry Ellison. It's been spun off to. Key facts. UpScrolled, which supports short-form videos, video editing, and text posts, among other features, ranks number 9 on Apple's App Store among free apps, one spot above TikTok, and number 2 on the social networking apps charts as of Monday afternoon. Well, we're on Wednesday now, and I can tell you that it's up at number 1. UpScrolled said in a post on Instagram Monday, new users showed up so fast our servers tapped out, thanking users for joining while describing itself as an alternative to the platforms that stopped listening to you. Users have flocked to UpScrolled amid rising discontent with TikTok after Trump ally Larry Ellison's Oracle and other companies took over the social media platform's US operations last week, prompting allegations that TikTok is censoring content that criticizes Trump or his administration's immigration policies. I'll be upfront and honest, I've never used TikTok. It's just not my thing. It probably could be a really good place to just enjoy some videos. I'm really not sure. I know there's short videos and things, and you can, whatever you're into, but I've just never really been into TikTok. UpScrolled has advertised itself as a platform with no censorship and no shadow bans, and it has previously called out TikTok, Meta, and X for censoring voices, enforcing biased moderation, and hiding content behind algorithms, which we now know is true. So UpScrolled launched in June, funded by Issam Hijazi, who had previously worked at companies including IBM and Oracle. Hijazi, who is Palestinian, Jordanian, and Australian, got the idea to create the app in late 2023, when meaningful stories disappeared from feeds while misinformation thrived, according to UpScroll's website. UpScroll says it does not push any agendas, political, commercial, or otherwise, and that every post has a fair chance to be seen, noting there are no shadow bans, no hidden throttling, no pay-to-play favoritism for any posts or creators. UpScrolled says the only posts it restricts are those that violate community guidelines or contain illegal activity, hate speech, bullying, or harassment. So how does the algorithm work? UpScrolled offers users a following feed consisting of posts from people a user follows and a discover feed for the following feed. Posts are ordered chronologically with no manipulation. On the discover feed, posts are ordered by likes, comments, and reshares with a light decay over time so fresh content rises, plus a touch of randomness so all posts have a chance to show up on a user's feed. So what do we know about the ownership? TikTok spun off its US operations into a new entity last week to avoid a ban under a 2024 federal law requiring TikTok to separate its US app from Chinese company ByteDance. Among TikTok's new owners are Oracle, co-funded by billionaire Trump ally Larry Ellison, as well as Emirati investment company MGX and California-based investment company Silver Lake. The new owners' apparent ties to Trump have rattled some users who are also accusing TikTok of censoring posts that are critical of Trump or immigration and customs enforcement. TikTok said in a statement on X it experienced a power outage at a US data center, which caused posts to take longer to publish and show up in users' feeds. Senator Chris Murphy, D-Con, Department of Congress, I think, singer Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas O'Connell and more are among those accusing TikTok of censorship, with Murphy calling it a threat to democracy in a post on X. So that's what Forbes had to say about it. So I found it really interesting. I'm really happy at the fact that we now have a new social media platform that seems to be built for the people so that they can have their voices heard. I mean, when it said about the different feeds, and I'm going to show it to you. I need to let you know straight off that it's a phone-based app, and that's put a lot of people off getting it, because X you can have on your web, like you can have it on your computer, so it has a web-based platform, and it has obviously a phone-based platform as well, whereas UpScrolled only has at the moment a phone-based platform, and as it's growing, it's said that they will be bringing out a web-based platform, so you can use it on your computer. But I have managed to be able to use it on my computer, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you the app as it stands because I'm using it on my computer via an app called BlueStacks, and BlueStacks is predominantly for gaming. You can play your games through BlueStacks, and you can record them, and you can edit. So it's a platform that will host other apps, and you can do that from your computer. That's the whole point of BlueStacks. But the great thing about BlueStacks is it has your Play Store on BlueStacks. So I logged into Play Store and I downloaded the UpScrolled app through Play Store on BlueStacks. And this, I'm not so sure if you're going to be able to see it very well. I'm hoping that you can. Let me see if I can move it over a little bit. Does that make any difference? No. So this is what comes up when you open the app, and it's very much the same as if it was on your phone. So this will be your feed. So we have following and discover. Following, these are all the people that I'm following. So all of these are posts that so you can see it's set out very much like X. And you have discover as well. So these are people I'm not following. So these are videos that are being uploaded that you might just be interested in seeing. And if you like them, then you can follow the people. And the way it works is the person who has, the person who's posted, you can click on their name and it will take you to their page. And you just click follow, and you can see all the things that they've posted, any media they've posted, any tags they haven't, nothing's been tagged yet. I mean, they've only made one post. They've not been very active. This is probably a brand new follower, so they're not following anyone and they haven't got any followers. But that is how your page will look. I'll show you mine. So this is my page, my lovely cat. And you can put whatever name you want. You don't have to use your real name. I've just tried to keep everything the same across the board. So I'm Sarah Waite on Twitch. I'm Sarah Waite on here. I'm Sarah Waite on YouTube. I'm not Sarah Waite on Twitter. You give a little bio if you want to. You don't have to. You can put in links to your social media. So I've got my LinkedIn, my YouTube, and my website. And then there's all the things that you post are underneath. So it's exactly the same as most of the other social media apps. So that's your own place. So when you click home down the bottom here, it will take you back to that feed that I showed you initially. And this is the following and discover. So that's everybody that I'm following. And you have reels as well and stories at the top of people that you're following. They'll come up. Okay. Then you can click on this button here, which is your magnifier. So it's your search button. So if you wanted to follow somebody you knew the name of, let's see if it will show me. Oh, it would help if I'd spelt it right. So if I put Sarah Waite in, oh, a different Sarah Waite comes up. Obviously, it wouldn't be me because I can't follow myself. But yeah, we have a different Sarah Waite, but spelt slightly differently. So it will show you anybody you put the name in of, and you can put their name or you can put their handle. So that's the @ bit that you would have on X, and you can find people that way. But the other great thing about it is because people are looking at it as, oh, it's a pro-Palestine social media platform, so therefore it's all going to be about the genocide. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's not why it was built. It's for people to come and interact with each other in a like-minded fashion and to just know that they're not going to be suppressed. So we have all these categories. We have sports. So, the very first thing, boycott FIFA. But you have sports. So you have the sports category. You have news. So I won't click on that because you know what that's going to be. Politics, we know what that's going to be. Films. So film categories. Now these, interesting. It will be films about Palestine as well. But it won't always be like that. There will be many different films. Then we have tech, music. We have a category for gaming, food, health, travel, money, fashion, culture, science, anime, if you're into anime, laugh out loud, so funny stuff, pets, always got to have a pets one, books, history, art, nature, photography, hobbies, global awareness, and just saying. So they're all the different topics that you can click on and you can have a scroll through. And if you find somebody who's posting stuff that you really like, you can follow them. And the great thing about this app is that when you follow someone, they almost always follow you back. So you start following people and then you end up in conversations with people. And then we have trending. So these are all the things. I've got mine. You can change the location. You can change where your location is. So if I wanted to see things that were trending in Scotland, I could put Scotland and that would bring up what's trending in Scotland. I've brought up UK, and as to be expected, that the trending hashtags are Free Palestine, Gaza, fuck Israel. I'll probably end up having this taken down from YouTube, as we know that somebody else owns YouTube. But you can see, obviously, the different topics. And then you have your worldwide trends as well. So the trending is always the hashtag. So when you post on here, if you want it to enter into these kind of areas and you want it to be counted in people who might be interested in, I don't know, you've baked some brownies, so you hashtag brownies, then you'll be with like-minded people if you add that hashtag. So anybody else who's posted about baking brownies and they've done hashtag brownies, you'll find it all there. So it's the same as all the other social media platforms. But it's almost like what he's done is brought all of the social media platforms into one space. Because I can post on my feed and I can just say how I'm feeling like I would do if I was on Facebook. I can post something that I'm anguished and angry about and do it on X, and I can do that on here. I can construct a video. So yeah, so that's your search. So you can search for people, you can search through the topics, and you can search for trending. The add button is if you want to post. So you can interact with other people's posts. So you can like them, you can go in there and you can leave replies and responses. But if you want to post something yourself, you can post text. So that's the Facebook side of it, share what's on your mind. You can post photos. So that's the Instagram kind of side of it. So you can post your photos on there. And the great thing is you can post your videos. So if we want to do a video, we can record, we can create a new video. So I'm going to click on that. Oh, it's got me upside down. You can change the default camera from the settings. Yeah, okay, well, we don't need that. But you can do it, and then you can filter. You can change it We'll flip that so that I'm up the right way. Oh, it's not going to do that unless I say this again. Oh, cameras detected. I'm not going to allow that because I want it to stay on there. Okay. Right, okay, we'll come back. So, like I say, so you can post a video, but you can edit that video on there as well. So you can create a video, you can edit it, and then you can post it to UpScrolled. So you've got video capabilities, almost a bit like YouTube. So that's really good. This is your notifications. So as you can see, I've got tons and tons of notifications, and you can change those. What is the likes? What are the comments? What are the mentions? Following, reposts, no reposts yet. Tags, verified. So people that have spoken to me, like my comments, that are verified. And to be verified is very difficult. It is difficult and it's not difficult. You have to have at least 100,000 subscribers across any of the other platforms to get verified on UpScrolled. So unless you are what they would class as an influencer, which is 100,000 subscribers and more, then you won't get verified on UpScrolled. But that's not an issue. Like you're not being suppressed whether you've got an uptick or not. Okay, so it's well worth bearing that in mind. And then, like I say, you've got your own profile, and you can alter your profile. So I can edit that. I can edit the links that I've put in. I can edit my birthday. I can edit everything on there. Settings. So you have your account center. You can invite friends, so you can share. You can share your link. There's the account privacy, so you can turn your account to private if you want. So only people who follow you can see your content if that's what you would like, if that's what you would prefer. You can mute users, you can block users, you can filter how your notifications come through. So all the standard stuff, Now, like I say, I'm showing you this on BlueStacks, and it works really well on BlueStacks. The fact that you're probably not able to see it fantastically through this screen because it's minimized is a bit of a shame. But for me, I can work it on my computer with no problems at all. And equally, I can do it on my phone, and nothing really changes between the platforms at all at the moment. But that's because I'm working the app on my computer. It may well change a little bit when UpScrolled have actually got a web-based platform for it, which is coming. So that is UpScrolled. And as you can tell, I'm really quite excited about it. I think it's the new way forward. And I love the fact that the founder is encouraging others to do the same kind of thing. Let's get out of this tech oligarchy. Let's get out of this megacorp, just horrible world of being controlled by billionaire oligarchs. And let's start making things that work for us, that are for us, and that we can utilize without any control mechanisms. And it seems to be the name of the game at the moment when it comes to all the puppet masters. The name of the game is control. Now, this is something where a young man has come along and taken the control out of the hands of the oligarchs.